Hello people, how you doing? Hope you're having a fantastic damn day. Welcome back to the channel. And let me just say, thank you so much. Honestly, we're almost there. 3K subscribers, almost there. And this past weekend was absolutely fan-damn-tastic. We did quite a lot in terms of the numbers. The videos have gotten a lot of support, so mad love to all of you guys. And if you are new, and you do like the channel, please subscribe. It's always fantastic. It's always great to welcome in new people. But yes, for today's tactical video, we're going to be breaking down ways that you can replicate Marco Silva's 4-2-3-1 system, of course, for Fulham in the game FC24. And to be honest, Fulham have been on absolute fire of late. I mean, they went to Anfield, almost came away with a victory, ended up losing 2 late goals at Anfield, by the way. That's incredible. They didn't let that get them down. They're like, you know what? We showed ourselves today. We were fantastic. Let's do it again. Destroyed Nottingham Forest 5-0, and then they absolutely swept West Ham aside with another 5-0 win. So you know what? They are doing well. This channel's doing well. We're all freaking doing well. So for the formation going forward, I've done no real changes to it. It's a 4-2-3-1 wide, so it's 1 goalkeeper, 2 centre-backs, 2 full-backs, 2 DMs, 1 attacking midfielder, 2 wider midfielders, and then of course 1 striker. So moving swiftly on now to the tactics, and you will see for the course of this week at least, there are quite a few tactical formations and whatnot that follow the tactical vision of wing play, which is exactly what Fulham are going with for this. Of course, Fulham, they like to work the ball into those wider regions, whether it's with their fullbacks or their wingers, and they try and cross the ball into the box to try and supply for the attacking players in the attacking third. More times than not, Fulham are very much seen as the team trying to supply crosses for their striker. Of course, last season it was Mitrovic. This season it's been a whole host. At the moment in time, it's Jimenez who has come into some really good form, scoring, well, probably on the best scoring run since his massive injury. So you know what, good for him. And I think wing play is the best tactical vision for Fulham. On to the defensive style of things, the pressing after possession loss is essential. They do look to try and implement a very quick and hasty press. The forwards will look to try and press the opposition's backline, and if that press is beaten, they'll look to try and shrink and more or less fall into their structure and their formation and make sure that they're very hard to try and break down. So they will look to try and press the backline, they will look to try and press the goalkeeper, but not so much in the midfield areas. As for the team width, it is set to 40. It's a nice balanced approach. I mean, you do have your 2 DMs trying to clog the lanes. Of course, it is a slightly more stretched width to this team for a defensive side, but they do look to try and prevent crosses from being fired into the box themselves. And of course, like I said, you have 2 number 6s that sit in front of the back line in more times than not and try and clog and intercept and break and stifle anything that the opposition can try and build up in terms of their offense. As for the depth, it is set to a mid-block at 60, and I will say this, just like Jose Mourinho, Marco Silva is very similar. They're both Portuguese. No, but not only that, in terms of their pragmatic approach to the game, they'll look to play with their defensive line, have it a low block setup and look to try and counter-attack in certain moments, and we will get there to the offensive side of things. But I think, just in general, I would say a 60 depth is probably the best fit for Fulham. Onto the offensive side of things now, the build-up play is set to fast build-up. They do look to try and transition quite quickly with the number 10 and your wingers as well as your striker, all looking to bomb on quite quickly forward. And as well as that, with the fast build-up approach, with the instructions, being factored into it as well, your fullbacks will also look to move quite quickly up the field and be involved in the attacking outlets. As for the transcreation, I've gone with a balanced approach because I don't think they are a possession-based team, although they can definitely do that. As well as the forward runs and the direct passing is all incorporated into a whole offensive outlet that Fulham try and replicate going forward. So definitely look to try and get those runners in behind the likes of Jimenez, Muniz, your wingers, of course. They do look to try and break into the opposition's backline and exploit them. They can do that, yes, or alternatively, they'll look to be a bit more pragmatic about it, back into the opposition, have the ball pinging around at first, and then look to try and exploit them with quick and swift movements. As for the width, it is set to 90, and this does allow your wider players to be a bit more effective in those wider areas, also opening up a lot of space between the lines for your runners, whether it's from deep from midfield, the likes of Alex Iwobi, making that run forward, or potentially your number 10 and the likes of Andreas Pereira, and even your striker. It doesn't matter who it is, you'll need to try and generate a lot of space, and in order to do that, you need to try and suck opposition players into those wider areas, which is what a width of 90 essentially does, because like I said earlier, you will look to try and create from those wider regions of the field. As for players in the box, I've set it to 7. Now you can, obviously if you are chasing the game and you want to try and flood the box, you can definitely put it up to 9. But again, you are susceptible to being counter-attacked on, so maybe don't overload the box too much. So 7 is a nice, good, happy medium. It will be your striker, of course. Your number 10, yes, hanging in and around the box. And then, of course, your other 2 wingers or your other 2 forwards. And maybe sometimes even one of your fullbacks. As for corners and free kicks, as per always, it's set to 4. So starting off with the instructions at the back. And in order to be a Marco Silva goalkeeper, you need to be able to play out from the back. You need to be able to maintain and compose yourself under pressure. And that is exactly everything that Bernd Leno is as a goalkeeper, of course. So saving on crosses, come for crosses. He is essential. He's very good at claiming those aerial balls that are whipped in. I would probably say that he is the best goalkeeper outside of the top 6. I don't know. Let me know down below in the comment section. But I honestly think it's Leno. Yeah, definitely. Nobody is coming to mind right now. So you know what? Let me know. I might be wrong. Let me know down below in the comment section. As for the saving outside of the box, however, you need that. You are playing the highest of lines, yes, but you need a goalkeeper who is proactive and reactive to any situation. So if you are caught out on the break, Leno will be there to try and save you. As for your 2 centre-backs now, Bassi as well as Adarabioyo, sorry, my bad. Anyway, they're set to their base set of instructions. You don't need them doing too much. And then we get onto your fullbacks now, of course. A more of a bombing on attacking style of fullback. Both Robinson and Castagna are very good at having an attacking outlet, whipping in crosses into the box, supplying the forwards with those good balls to try and score. So both of them have the same set of instructions. So join the attack, of course, linking up with the midfield as well as your wingers and progressing forward. Normal interceptions are set to be on for them, as well as the overlapping run, consistently looking to overlap the wingers, creating a lot of space down either side. And then the defensive position is set to stick to position. For the likes of Robertson, as you can see here, he's got the same set of instructions as well. Now moving on into the midfield, Paulinho set to tight marking. Now, I have said this before, but I'll just reiterate it. In previous FIFAs, it's not really worked out that well, but I think with EAFC, they've found like a little bit of a balance to it, and I think it's improved, where tight marking is a better option than just zonal cutout passing lanes and so on. So for Paulinho, in order to replicate his aggressive nature and his defensive behaviors, I would say tight marking is a better option. So he will look to try and track a man, take him out of the game, and more or less try and stifle the opposition's offensive builder play. As for the attacking support, it is set to stay back while attacking, so where the likes of Iwobi will look to progress forward, you need a bit more of a stability player, and that is Paulinho, anchoring the defense in terms of the defensive midfield position. As for the interceptions, in order to replicate his aggression and his work rate and his mentality, I've gone with aggressive interceptions. For the positioning freedom, it's set to stick to position. He's not really a player that's going to show for the ball, be a deep line playmaker, spray passes left, right, and center. He's more or less the defensive presence, just slightly higher up the field. So that's why the positioning freedom for me is set to stick to position, opposed to drifting wide or being the deep line playmaker. And then finally, for the defensive position, it is set to cover the center, looking to try and sit and man that space between the midfield and the back line and protect them as best as he can. Onto your other defensive midfielder now, of course, Iwobi. He has come into some good scoring form himself. I mean, I was talking about Jimenez, but Iwobi has been crazy. He's scored just as many goals as Jimenez, I'm pretty sure. And that's from a deeper midfield position. So the ability to get Iwobi on the ball and have him drive. He's a very powerful runner with the ball at his feet, taking on players, beating certain opposition traps they try and set out for him. He's very, very good with it. So in order to replicate that, the defensive behavior for him is set to cut passing. So a bit more of the energetic, stifling momentum that you're looking to try and implement into this midfield. And that's what Iwobi will bring. And then for the support, or the attacking support, I've set him to get forward. You want this right-sided number 6 in Iwobi specifically to be able to break forward, almost join up with Pereira as a secondary number 10. For the interceptions, it's set to normal. You don't want him chasing the ball too much in certain moments. That's what Paulinho is there for. And then for the positioning freedom, it is set to stick to position, of course. Iwobi is also not going to show for the ball, drop between the defenders, collect and then progress it forward. More or less, you expect your 2 centre-backs to be able to play the ball into your midfield. The defensive positioning is set to cover the wing, so he will look to try and fill in for the likes of Castagna if he does, step out of position and he's gone too far forward. whereas obviously Polina looks to try and man the central areas of the field. Into your number 10 now, of course, Pereira. He's set to come back on defense, looking to try and drop very deep at times. I mean, in the gameplay, he dropped so deep that he was literally in front of the goalkeeper with the one goalkeeper restart, which I really did like, because inevitably that does draw players out of positions and allow for space to be opened up for others. The support on crosses is set to a balanced approach, so sometimes breaking into the box, other times hanging in and around the attacking third, looking to try and supply a bit more. The positioning freedom is set to free roam, and that goes hand in hand with the ability for him to come back on defense, drawing players out, popping up in the little half spaces, opening up other space for other players, and allowing him just to be the creative 10 that he should be. As for the interceptions, it is set to aggressive, and that more or less replicates his nice, good, hard-working work rates. So out wide now to your two wingers. They have slightly differing roles, so we'll start off with Willian. He's set to come back on defense, looking to consistently help out the likes of Robinson when he's out of position. The chance creation is set to a balanced width, so sometimes holding the width of the field, other times looking to come inside, cut inside, and create goal-scoring opportunities for himself. And then the support runs is also set to a balanced approach, looking to sometimes break in behind the opposition's defense, other times looking to be a bit more of a target man, hold up the ball a bit more. He's not well known for that, but he can definitely do it. And then as well as link up with the midfield by him coming short. You want to incorporate all of that, and that's why balanced best suits Willian. As for the interceptions, it's set to aggressive. Now, Willian is getting up there in age, so he can't always maintain the relentless work rate. So if he is getting a bit tired and you are in your menu and you're making subtle changes here and there, probably drop him down to a normal or maybe conservative. But more or less, Marco Silva does demand that his wingers work very hard in those wider regions of the field. And in order to do that, aggressive interceptions. The support on crosses is set to balance, so sometimes getting into the box himself, other times looking to hang on the edge of the area, try and supply the secondary ball, or maybe supply something for himself, or so on, trying to just create in those wider regions of the field from just outside of the box. As for the likes of Harry Wilson now, similar role but slightly different, yes. Come back on defense, looking to help out the likes of Castagna, yes. The chance creation is also set to a balance width, so sometimes drifting inside, taking shots on for himself. Very good with the free kicks, by the way. But I'm sure you guys already know that. But nonetheless, coming inside, cutting in, taking shots on for himself, or having the ability to hang a bit wider, link up a bit more with the fullback, and then try and work something from those wider regions. And then also having the ability to come short, be a bit more involved more centrally in certain moments with the likes of Iwobi and Pereira, and opening up a bit more space for the bombing on fullback. As for the interceptions, just like with the left-hand side, it's set to aggressive, but you won't ever need to really change it. I've just said with the Willian thing is, it's because he is old and his stamina is not the best. The support on crosses, just like with the left-hand side, it will be done on the right-hand side. And then finally, we've got our superstar striker Jimenez, who has come into some brilliant form of late, replacing the £50 million man Mitrovic. Now, it's a slightly differing role. I mean, with Mitrovic, it was stay central, be an aggressive target man, not have to come back on defense, whereas Jimenez offers up a bit more work rate to him. So, in order to replicate Jimenez's role, stay central, yes, you're still going to look to have a star striker more centrally, looking to latch onto headers and stuff like that. And it doesn't matter whether it's Jimenez or Muniz or Vinicius, they'll all look to stay central more times than not. The attacking runs is set to mixed, not exactly a target man, but he does have the ability to play as a false line, dropping off of the back line in certain moments, or having the ability to back into the opposition, try and bully them, try and dominate them, or even using his pace, playing on the shoulder of the back line. And in the gameplay, I did end up scoring a really good goal with the likes of Jimenez, with his ability to play off the shoulder of the back line. He bullied him, he got him behind, and then he scored the goal. So you are looking to try and replicate moments like that more so. The interceptions is set to aggressive, replicating his relentless pressing nature and his work rates on and off of the ball. And then finally, the defensive support is set to basic. So sometimes, if required, dropping a bit deeper and linking up a bit more with the players around him. And there you have it, people. That is my version of Marco Silva's 4-2-3-1 tactics and formation in the game FC24, of course, with Fulham. If you have enjoyed this, please smash that like button. I will see you guys tomorrow. Of course, it's a Throwback Thursday, so stay tuned for that. It's a very impressive one from a few years ago. So, until the next time, have a great day. I'm out.